Have you ever wondered what your baby is doing inside the womb when you're not paying attention? Sure, they kick and move, but did you know they also have some bizarre reflexes even before they're born? Imagine this: a tiny unborn baby suddenly flinching, grasping, or even startling as if they're reacting to something we can't even see. It's almost like a secret world of movement and instinct is happening right under our noses. And it turns out, these strange reflexes aren't random. They serve a huge purpose in preparing your baby for life outside the womb. Some of these reflexes are adorable, others are downright weird. But all of them give us an incredible glimpse into just how smart and instinct-driven babies are before they even take their first breath. So stick around, because today we're diving deep into the weird and wonderful reflexes your baby already has before birth, and why they matter more than you think. What are reflexes and why do babies have them? Before we get into the strangest ones, let's talk about reflexes in general. A reflex is an automatic, involuntary movement that happens without thinking. It's something we do naturally, often for survival. For example, if you touch something burning hot, you immediately pull your hand away without even realizing it. That's a reflex. Babies have tons of these reflexes, but what's really amazing is that many of them develop before birth. And even though some of these reflexes disappear after a few months, they're absolutely essential in helping babies transition into the outside world. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Here are some of the weirdest reflexes your baby already has inside the womb. 1. The startle reflex. Jump scares before birth. Ever felt your baby suddenly jerk inside your belly, almost like they got scared? That's called the Moro reflex, or more commonly, the startle reflex. This happens when a baby suddenly flings out their arms and legs as if they're reacting to danger. Scientists believe this reflex goes all the way back to our evolutionary past, when grasping onto a caregiver could mean the difference between survival and being left behind. Even in the womb, loud noises, sudden movements, or even a change in light can trigger this mini jump scare reaction. It's a little funny, but it's also proof that babies are already aware of their surroundings, even before they're born. 2. The grasp reflex, a tiny but strong grip. If you've ever had a newborn grab your finger and refuse to let go, you've seen this reflex in action. But what's surprising? Babies actually start practicing their grip in the womb. Ultrasounds have shown unborn babies clutching onto their umbilical cords, sometimes with surprising strength. And when they're born, this grasp reflex is so strong that some newborns can literally support their own body weight for a few seconds just by hanging on to something. Scientists believe this reflex is another throwback to our ancestors, when baby primates had to cling to their mother's fur to stay close and safe. 3. The sucking reflex. Practice for the first meal. You might have seen ultrasound images of babies sucking their thumbs inside the womb, but this isn't just for comfort. It's actually an essential survival reflex. Babies start practicing their sucking reflex around week 32 of pregnancy, and by the time they're born, they're already pros at it. This is what allows them to nurse immediately after birth, even though they've never eaten before. But here's something even weirder. Some babies are even born with a little blister on their lips from sucking so much in the womb. It's called a nursing blister, and it's a sign that they've been preparing for their first meal long before they were born. 4. The stepping reflex, walking before birth. Believe it or not, newborns have a reflex that makes them appear like they're walking when you hold them upright with their feet touching a surface. It's called the stepping reflex, and get this, it actually starts before birth. In some rare ultrasound footage, babies have been seen kicking and pushing off the walls of the uterus, almost like they're practicing walking. Of course, this reflex disappears a few months after birth, but it's proof that babies are wired to move long before they take their first steps. 5. The rooting reflex, finding food instinctively. Have you ever noticed how a newborn turns their head and opens their mouth when you gently stroke their cheek? That's called the rooting reflex, and it actually starts developing inside the womb. This reflex helps babies find their food source. It's a built-in survival skill that ensures they instinctively turn toward the breast or bottle when they're hungry. And here's the crazy part. Some babies have been seen rooting in the womb, moving their head as if they're searching for something, even though there's nothing to latch onto yet. 6. The yawning reflex. Yes, babies yawn before birth. You've probably yawned just hearing that word, right? Well, unborn babies do it too. Ultrasounds have captured some of the most adorable footage of babies yawning in the womb. But this isn't just a cute moment, it actually plays an important role in their brain and lung development. Scientists believe fetal yawning helps develop the respiratory system and regulate brain activity. And some researchers even suggest that the frequency of yawning could be a sign of healthy neurological development. 7. The diving reflex, the hidden superpower. Here's one that's truly mind-blowing: the diving reflex, also known as the bradycardic response. When babies are submerged in water, like during a water birth, they instinctively hold their breath, slow their heart rate, and redirect oxygen to their most vital organs. This reflex is what allows newborns to be born underwater without inhaling fluid. And guess what? It starts developing before birth. This is why babies can comfortably spend 9 months floating in amniotic fluid without drowning. It's part of their natural design. What these reflexes mean for your baby. So, why does all of this matter? These reflexes aren't just fascinating quirks. They're proof of how babies are constantly preparing for life outside the womb. Each movement, each reaction, and even those little flinches you feel inside your belly are all part of an incredible process that ensures your baby is ready to thrive from the moment they enter the world. And perhaps the most amazing thing? Even though some of these reflexes disappear shortly after birth, they're all essential in helping babies adapt, survive, and connect with their parents. So now that you know all this, what do you think? Did any of these reflexes surprise you? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you found this as mind-blowing as I did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating insights into pregnancy and baby development. Because when it comes to life before birth, there's always something new to discover.